The Barn is a low-budget supernatural horror movie from 2016 that is a throwback to 80s horror movies. It's set in 1989 about a group of young adults going to a concert, but on their way they stop, have a campfire, and tell spooky stories, and then accidentally unleash evil in this small town known as Deathville. This was a second time watch. I saw it for the first time a couple years ago. Remember enjoying it then, and I really enjoyed it this time also. It was actually a little better than I remembered. And there's supposed to be a sequel on the way. The trailer was dropped almost a year ago, last October. I think the Indiegogo campaign started a couple years back, but no release date as of yet. So I'm looking forward to The Barn Part 2 if it does come out. So getting into the things I like about this movie is it has a great open, a terrific opening kill, and then some cool music over the credits and even throughout the movie. This has a very like 80s throwback soundtrack, very John Carpenter inspired. It feels very John Carpenter at times, and even like kind of like Phantasm a bit. It's a terrific soundtrack. This has a huge body count. We got 3 killers, supernatural killers, and the body count is pretty huge. There is a massacre in one scene, lots of gore, practical effects. Every kill is done practically. And this movie even kills children. And I love that it's a throwback to 80s. I like these kinds of movies. Some people are kind of sick of them now because everyone's trying to do it. But this one does it well. And it even has like the look. They purposely like in post put like a filter over it. Kind of looks a little grainy. But they don't overdo it. It's not like Planet Terror where there's a bunch of like lines and like cigarette burns and it just looks distracting. It's not that bad. The look of the 3 demons I really like, especially the pumpkin. The pumpkin head dude, he has like fire in his eyes and I think even his mouth. It's probably CG fire. I'm not sure how they would do that practically. Like this guy's face is like on fire and he just looks awesome. And even the other 2 guys, the Boogeyman and the Scarecrow. And if you're gonna set a movie on Halloween, you gotta make it look like it's Halloween. And boy, does this movie do a bang up job making it look like it's the holiday. It's Halloween from beginning to end. The atmosphere, the set decorations, the lighting. I'm just a sucker for this kind of movie. And I appreciated some of the corny dialogue in here. It's very cheesy, the tone of the movie. It's not taking itself too seriously. There's some cheesy one-liners that they say before they are about to like attack one of the 3 demons. They always have some kind of one-liner like trick or treat, motherfucker. It's kind of Busta Rhymes in moments, but it's pretty fun. As for my dislikes, they overdid the visual effects. They have some really like old school cheesy visual effects like lightning, like electricity going over the bodies when they're like resurrecting and every time the villains get hurt. The visual effects, I didn't really need it. And this movie does kind of suffer from having some weak amateurish acting. And if you're not a fan of movies with bad acting, it will probably be hard for you to look past it, but I'm kind of used to it at this point with the amount of old movies I've seen and all the low budget movies I've seen. I'm kind of used to it at this point, but I know there's a lot of people out there who can't stand bad acting, and this one has some bad acting in it, especially from Linnea Quigley. I thought she was terrible. One little nitpick I have is that I didn't like it when the Scarecrow started to laugh. He only does it once, and it just wasn't necessary. It just kind of took away his scariness a bit. He shouldn't have been laughing in that moment. So I could have done without that, and I could have done without really the cult angle they threw in at the last second. I would have preferred it to just be more about the 3 demons that they accidentally summoned, and now they have to stop what they started. Just leave it at that, and I would have been more happy. And lastly, I just wasn't really into the typical, like, generic shy couple. Like, these two people love each other, but they just won't say it. So their friends have to, like, nudge them and help them out. Like, come on, ask her out already. Like, we see this a million movies, and this is just yet another one. Two shy people who love each other, but they just won't say it. They're just an awkward couple, and I could have done without that also. Just, just make them a couple. Like, why this angle again? Like, we see it too many times. So, final thoughts. This is a super fun, cheesy, gory throwback that's perfect to watch in October and perfect for people who can tolerate some weak acting and low budget filmmaking. To me, it gives you almost everything you could ask for in a Halloween slasher like movie. It's got a great atmosphere, and I had a great time with it. So when it comes to The Barn, I really enjoyed it, so I'm giving it 4 out of 5 stars. All right, spoiler discussion. One of the first things I noticed was the tribute to Halloween 3, the poster. There's a cool, like, silhouette shot that looked just like the Halloween 3 poster. And the 12-year-old girl, it's 1959, she goes up to the barn, and the 3 demons open up the door, and they drive a pickaxe right through her skull, all on camera. That was pretty awesome. And then we meet Linnea Quigley playing this, like, pastor lady, and her acting was not good. And I like that the main character's name is Sam, and he's very, like, strict with, like, Halloween tradition and obeying the rules, just like Sam in Trick or Treat. I wonder if that was done on purpose, naming him Sam. Was he named after Sam Hain, Samhain? And then we get Ari Lehman, first Jason, who, he played Jason Voorhees as a kid in the original Friday the 13th. He's playing a character in this movie called Dr. Rock. And he's like a TV host person. He's a TV personality guy. And he's on Channel 3. I thought it would have been kind of cute if he was on Channel 13. Were there 13 channels in 1989? I don't know. But they should have just wrote Channel 13. Why not? Even if there wasn't 13 channels yet in 1989, it's a movie. Just say Channel 13. We get kind of a tit tease, and this guy gets cock-blocked right before he's about to see his girlfriend naked. They're at the drive-in, seeing a movie in 3D. I've never seen a 3D movie at the drive-in. But then we see her tits later, and it's clearly a body double when they do it. And then they make a wrong turn into Deathville, and they resurrect the 3 demons, and they split up, and the token black guy, he dies first, of course. That's the trope. The black guy has to die first. But he gets like a lame off-camera kill, gets like a hammer to the face, and it cuts away. Blood like splashes up on the lights. But then we see his body later on, and he's completely torn apart. So that was some good practical gore there, but I wish we could have seen more there on camera when he died. And then, so the couple, they go to the abandoned tent, and it has like some kind of like satanic like cult symbol written on the side that they never discover. I don't think Sam and Josh discover it later, do they? But it's just there the whole time. And then, yeah, we get all these visual effects that show us that they're being resurrected. That just weren't necessary. And then the Scarecrow like takes a sickle and he chops Nikki's arm off. That was pretty cool. And then later on, we see her body in like the Cannibal Holocaust poster position. Like she has like a spike all the way up her body and out her mouth. Paying tribute to that movie, obviously. And then for some reason, the POV of the bad guys is red, all red. And we get like a montage of people in town getting butchered by the 3 demons. This old lady gets an axe to the face, and it's shot from behind. Blood splashes on the screen. I would have liked that to be shot from like the side, but then I guess you would see that it's clearly a dummy head, so I guess it was smarter to shoot from behind, less obvious that it's a dummy. And like this one dude gets his face peeled off. This chick sticks her hand in a pumpkin and like chews her hand off. And then this other lady gets the boogeyman's hand with like these really long fingernails. He jams his hand into the back of her skull, just like scooping out her brains. It's just a big old montage of death. And then after that, they get to this like hootenanny, is what they call it, this like barn party, and there's a massacre, just death after death. The band gets killed first, slit throats, skulls being crushed, all kinds of intestines being pulled out. It just gets fucking brutal. And then they have like a gearing up montage. You see that in a lot of movies. Very like Evil Dead 2, gearing up, getting all your weapons, and then they find Chris's body, and his head is now like a jack-o'-lantern, which they did again later in Terrifier and Halloween 2018, but this was before those movies. I wonder who did it first. Any movie before this that did that? This one doesn't look as good as those movies. That's just the budget, though. But still pretty cool idea. And they kill the Pumpkinhead guy, or so they think they did, with M80s and weed killer. And Josh, he's the son of a pastor, and he starts blessing the weed killer, making it like holy water, and they're spraying everything, killing all the pumpkins, smashing the pumpkins. They should have been playing a song by that band, Smashing Pumpkins, right? And then they decapitate the boogeyman with the shovel, and there's a cult, and were those people, not the pastor dude, but the other people that were there, were they supposed to be humans dressed up like demons, or were they real demons? They seemed really demon-like, I don't know, but they're easily wiped out. Josh and Sam just get in there, and they're just fucking killing all 3 or 4 cult, devil worshippers in there rather easily. It was very easy to get in there and get their girlfriend, Michelle, the virgin sacrifice, and get her out of there. And then, the movie ends with them like trapped in the basement of this barn. There's a like portal to hell, and it's like almost midnight, and Josh says something like, "Oh, we broke the golden rule." So then like the devil's hand just comes out of hell to grab them, and they're like about to attack it with their weapons, and then it freeze frames, to be continued in part 2, And then it kind of hints that Michelle, who drove off to safety to get help, it hints that maybe she's not going to make it, that the Pumpkinhead killer is going to like resurrect because there's a pumpkin in the back seat, and he can like, resurrect as long as there's a pumpkin around. He can like reanimate there. I don't know, but it makes it look like she's going to die, is what I'm saying. So does she live? Who knows? We'll find out in part 2. So that's the end of The Barn. What are your thoughts on this gory throwback, awesome Halloween movie? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, if you like what you've seen here, you can hit this like button and become a subscriber today just by clicking on my cartoon face in about 5 seconds. And remember, it's all an opinion. You don't need to get butthurt about it.